I just finished public school, I'll tell you why it's great. Waking up at 6 a.m. to pledge allegiance to the state. Yeah, it's true, I got my public school blues.
Hey everybody, welcome back to School Sucks Live. Today is the last day of May. I'm Brett. My co-hosts tonight are Mandrik and Osborne. We have a caller on the line. His name is John. He works as a tutor, and he has been telling us a story and asking for a little bit of advice. John, you want to recap the story just for us real quick if anyone's just joining us?
Yeah. So I'm tutoring a kid. He's struggling in school. His parents or his dad is kind of saying, you should go into the military. And I just want to know what to do, how I can help.
Oh,
and he's smoking weed right now to kind of avoid his problems.
What kind of has his dad offered any rationale to you or him for why he's giving this advice that he should join the military? Structure, discipline, that kind of thing?
I think he just kind of threw it out there as like that's kind of one of the only things you can do, which I'm not. Can you do that? Do you have to have a high school degree to do that or no?
This day and age, I don't know. I mean, they're opening the prison doors and marching those people into basic training. So,
yeah, they've really lowered the standards. Plus, when you're in school, you can join like ROTC or whatever.
Yeah. So, Dad doesn't sound like he's very supportive or encouraging if he wants to march him into the military.
It's kind of 50-50 on that one. I'm not quite sure because I think it's tough because the mom's not around.
Okay.
And then, but he works late too, and so that's, I was kind of getting to the root of why he smokes, and one of the things is that his dad doesn't come home till 7, and he has nothing else to do. So,
the old boredom thing.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I think my approach for this situation generally would be an inquisitive one with both him and the father. And I think that sometimes people get a little standoffish when you start giving real specific advice, especially if, it's something that's a good idea that they've never thought of and it's their kid. I always try to be a little bit cautious of that. But, a question for Dad, I mean, the opening question would be, have you ever thought about any alternatives? Because that sounds so obvious. It sounds like such an obvious thing to ask, but a lot of people have never even considered the idea that there might be something else to do for somebody or with somebody when they're not having a meaningful, positive educational experience. Like almost no one is in these schools. I mean, even people who are turning in papers or getting back papers with A's and B's, that's not really like satisfying in as far as something that was intrinsically motivated. I don't think that there's any real benefits for anybody that aren't just entirely pragmatic, like we talked about on the show last week, like, oh, this gets me the piece of paper that I need to go into the next place to get the next piece of paper. But that's very pragmatic, and it's not about rational self-interest or anything like that. So I think if you start just by saying, have you considered any alternatives? And if there's pushback or there's a follow-up inquiry, if Dad is interested in like, well, what do you mean, or where does this go next? Then you could start maybe putting forward a more specific critique of school. Like, well, he's been in school for 11 years. Has it been a generally positive experience? Right? Because we don't stick around or stay in situations that.
But I was gonna say, but you know why they probably haven't considered a different idea, like a different school or some other type of solution. I mean, think about when you were in school, when you would hear, I remember when we were like in 9th grade and we had the tour of the vocational school and everybody's like, oh, this is where all the losers go. Yeah. Right? Because it's like you're in this atmosphere where this everyone you grew up with and all your parents and stuff, everybody pretty much finished high school, right? Like that's like the normal thing to do. And if you don't go that route, then you're going the lesser way. Like, oh yeah, there's alternatives, and then you just laugh about them.
Oh
right?
yeah, so that's a stigma.
Right.
We called them Voc stars.
Yeah, we called them slow tech.
And a lot of those kids, exactly. And a lot of those kids probably became very successful learning a trade. And
it's great. If you think about it now, it's like, oh, I'd love to have done something hands-on where, it actually applies to real-world stuff.
Yeah. It was never even a consideration. It's like, haha, look at us. We're going to college. Oh, what a bunch of clowns.
These guys are working on cars and stuff.
These guys are
Who needs
learning how to do stuff that they'll be able to do in 2 years and start making 40, 50 grand a year.
Yeah, you got a job.
I'll be living on $40 a week and going into debt and damaging my liver.
Public school, you keep me in good mental health, 'cause without you